Hey guys, SRC Reptiles here, and today I'm going to be making a little video only because I have been getting a ton of questions on one of my humidity videos that I have that tells how to deal with humidity, or it might be the shed video. Either way, because there's one where I talk about managing your humidity, and it's an older one, and there's also one that I talk about how to remove shed from geckos' feet and stuff. So I've been getting a lot of questions on both those videos of how to get stuck shed off of toes. So I'm going to show you guys, Magma being all weird here because he's got one of his toes actually curled under like this, which is this one here. So Magma gets to be the guinea pig because he has a teeny bit of stuck shed on a couple of his nails or his claws. So here's Mr. Magma. And I'm going to show you guys, he's fired down on one side and fired up on the other side, well, partially. Anyway, I'm going to show you guys. So Magma is a smaller gecko. If you had a larger gecko, you could use one of these bigger containers. You will just want to take one of these containers here. You're going to put your gecko in it, and then you're going to pour water into here just deep enough to cover the feet. So let me get my spray bottle. You can use tap water for this because obviously it's not going to hurt him to drink just a little bit. I'm just going to use purified water because that's what I have in the reptile room. So let me get my spray bottle and we will pour some water in there to show you what to do. So this water, I will say that if you are using water that's not room temperature, like if you're getting it from the faucet, make sure it is a little teeny tiny bit lukewarm because you obviously want it to be either room temperature, which in my case, this room that I'm in right now is 74 degrees. So if it's not in a room that's warmer, I would use lukewarm water so that you're not putting really cold water in the gecko or in the container with the gecko. So go ahead and pour some water in here. Normally they shouldn't freak out only because of the fact that you're just putting it deep enough to cover their toes. So as you can see here, it looks like his foot is so weird because their skin kind of repels water. As you can see, it kind of just floats on top of it. If I try to push it underwater, the water just, it's weird how it repels, but he's lifting his toes. So anyway, most of the time when it's an adult gecko, they're not really going to mind. You obviously do not want it super deep. You don't want him to drown or anything. Let me scoot him over so all of his toes are under the water. Sometimes you might want to use a lid to have over the top if they start to freak out a little bit. Maybe not put as deep of water as I did. If I had to guess, I don't even actually know. I'd need a tape measure to see how deep this water is. But it's not like it's super deep. You can see here how the water level looks and everything. And of course he is an adult. If you had like a baby gecko, I don't know if I'd do this with them if they're like 3 months or younger because they're still pretty small at that age. Maybe do a different method, which I can still show you guys an idea. So you would normally want them to stay in this water, depending on how bad the shed stuck on their toes are. You want them to stay in here anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. And sometimes you have to monitor them because sometimes when they're in water, it makes them want to use the bathroom. So keep an eye on them, obviously. You don't want to just leave them because you don't want them to use the bathroom, and he's doing some weird male gecko stuff. So anyway, while he's doing that, I'll show you a couple ways of getting the shed off the toes once they are done soaking in the water. Now because Magma only has them stuck on his claws, he's not going to need to stay in there the full 5 minutes because it's not actually his toe. But normally what you'd want to get is either a Q-tip, which this here is just what that is. It's got cotton on either end. Or you can use a cotton pad, which is this here. You can normally buy them at any grocery store, for instance, or like a health store, health food store, whatever you want to say. Anyway, so Magma, I'm kind of keeping an eye on him because he's wanting to crawl around. It's not normally normal for them to want to stay in the water. It's interesting how their skin repels water because see how it's got that white glisten to it? It's so weird. It looks like aluminum. So he's just going to chill in here. I'm just going to say maybe 3 minutes and then it should be okay. Try to make sure their toes are all the way under the water, or at least the part that's got shed on it. Because with him, he's trying to lift this one foot. Because I know when he shed the other day, I saw some retained shed on just his claws. And crested geckos have teeny tiny little claws, which since he's lifting his foot up, you can see it. Little kind of see-through whitish gray part there at the end of his toe. And normally when it's left on the toes, it's not that big of a deal. They come, or the end of the claws, I should say, because the claw is not directly attached to the toe, like it's at the very tip of the toe. If there was retained shed around the claw that attached to the foot itself, then yes. But most of the time when it comes to his claws, if he has shed on them, they come off pretty easily on their own just because of the fact he's constantly climbing around and stuff. And obviously when he goes to shed next time, I keep an eye on it. If it's a problem, then I obviously will take it off. And of course this time he is the guinea pig, so he's getting soaked for it. Anyway, I think he's probably been in there about long enough, so let me grab a wash rag that I have in here that's for the reptiles, and we will let him sit on that, and then I'll show you guys what to do next. I will say that either one of these you're going to be getting wet. You don't want to use a dry one unless the toes are really soaked. Only time I'd suggest using a dry one is if you're trying to get shed off of the toes and you need some roughness to kind of brush it off. Otherwise, if you wanted to, I normally will wet it down and I'll leave one side dry, so if it's not working out for me, I still have that other side dry. I normally will try going in with it wet first, but if you're wanting to try it dry first, see if it works. If not, then you can dampen the Q-tip and then try rubbing off the shed with the damp side of it. So anyway, let's go ahead and I'll get him out and we'll put him on a wash rag and get his little sheds off of his claws, if he hasn't got them off already. Okay, so as you can see, he is on the towel, and I don't know if this part you can see or not, but there is a little bit of shed on this claw, and it's kind of got that white clunk, like gloopy looking, I don't know what the word is. Looks like it possibly might be on the other one as well. So I'm probably going to dampen the Q-tip just for that. I'm going to switch the camera around so you guys can see me, so it's a little bit easier, and I'm going to just have it leaned up against one of these things. So here we go. Okay. So I have dampened the Q-tip, and normally my geckos are pretty tame, so they don't mind me picking their foot up. But as you can see here, I've got his foot just in my hand, not really squeezing that hard. And I'll kind of get the toe in my fingers. Oh, you guys can't really see that. Let me turn it this way. I'll stand on my tiptoes so I can see it better. So I'm dampening the shed that's stuck on the claw with the Q-tip and kind of gently rubbing at the same time, and I keep the water nearby so I can re-dip it. He's kind of getting a little antsy, which he normally never is a pain, but he will get antsy because he does not like me holding his foot. Most geckos won't. Kind of checking that other toe. I don't think there's stuck shed on it. I think it's just this one. Stuck shed on the claw, I should say. Now I'm going to grab these tweezers real quick and show you guys. These are normally what I'll use sometimes when it comes to the smaller parts of the claw. So these are insect tweezers that I got off of bioquipbugs.com, I believe, or bioquip.com, one of the two. You can obviously find them on Amazon way cheaper. As you can see, they are blunt tipped. They are not sharp. And you obviously want to be very careful when you do this because it's not wanting to come off with the Q-tip. So I normally will take this and I'll gently push on the side, and I really wish I could be closer for you guys. I don't know, let me try. Okay. He's making his cute little squeaking noises. Okay. Sit still, Magma. Let me see if I can get him to sit still. Most of the time he won't squirm if I kind of firmly grip him, but not to the point where I'm squeezing. Sit still. Yes, I know. It's your own fault. You didn't get the toe off all the way. Sit down. Okay. I'm sorry. I gave this little skin there a teeny pinch. I've almost got it off though. I'm going to kind of reapply some water. There we go. You can see he's being very well behaved because most of the time geckos do not like to be handled like this. So it just goes to show how well he's been tamed over the years. And then of course I've had him since 2016, I believe, so for 4 years, so he's very used to me and he knows that I'm not going to hurt him. I'm going to kind of try to use my finger to kind of gently massage the shed. He's definitely not wanting to let me touch his toe as much now because he knows I'm messing with it. Yes, I know, you're being so good. Okay, I'm going to reapply some water. As you guys can see, sometimes it's very time consuming just for 1 foot, for instance. Yep. Come here, Magma. Now, sometimes very tame geckos can be a little moody, because Ember one time had gotten a bunch of soil in her nose, and I was trying to help her get it out, and she was being extremely moody to the point that she bit at me, but not real hard. I'm going to use the dry side because I've got it a little bit too wet now and I can't see the claw very clearly. Oh, here we go. I think I've pretty much got the shed off. It's just here. It's like performing surgery. Okay, let me take a look at your toe, mister. Now for this, I'm just using my nail because that was the most gentle way of it. So I'll turn the camera around and show you this teeny tiny little shed, but still just for showing how to do it. Oh, that one also has some stuck on the toe. But anyway, I'm going to dampen that toe, or the claw, I should say, and then I will show you this shed that I have on my finger. Okay, so as you can see, and I'll zoom in a little bit, it literally is this little tiny bit of shed there that was stuck on the tip of the claw. Not really that big of a deal, and then as you can see, I'll turn him around on this side. We'll see if he'll hold still. You can see the shed clearly on that toe where you can see that there's dry skin around the claw itself. So that one I'm going to work at in a second. Oops, sorry. We'll see if I can try to hold the camera and do it with one hand. I doubt it, but kind of get that one toe. I'm pretty sure it was that one. Hold still, Magma. Yeah. Oops, sorry guys. Paying attention to the gecko. So I'm getting that one claw damp. There we go. So you can see the skin became a little bit more translucent. Coming in here from the side. Very gently. Oop, I didn't grab his foot, but I touched the side and he freaked out a little bit about that. There we go. Literally that tiny little piece right there that you can see by his skin. That's all that was on it. It looks like there may be a little bit more, but I'll get that later. But just to give you guys an idea. Now obviously I would use the cotton pad if it's the entire foot on the bottom of the pads in this area here that he's lifting up, because it's really common for them to have sheds stuck on the bottom of the toe pads right here. And you normally will be able to tell because instead of it being this really nice looking gray color, and let me try to get him to hold still for a second. Instead of it being this gray color or whatever skin color they are, it will have a white color to it because there obviously will be dried skin over it. So that there's a neat look at his foot because he's being very well behaved. You can see he's just chilling here. Very loosely gripping him. He's just my best boy when it comes to holding still. Ember obviously is good, but she normally doesn't ever have any shed stuck on her, so couldn't really use her as the guinea pig. But anyway, guys, I hope that this was helpful for you. Obviously, if you have a gecko that's a lot more high-strung, younger, and jumpier, it's obviously going to take way more time and a lot more effort and patience to be able to get it off of their feet. I know with my baby geckos, sometimes they get shed stuck in a lot of places. Their belly and their tail are really common for them to get stuck shed. Sometimes on the adults and even the babies, they'll get stuck shed here on these crest pieces. All you have to do then is just wet water between your fingers and just gently grip at there and kind of pull gently until it comes off. With the crest, I'm not too worried because when they go to have their next shed, that comes off super easy. But I normally will do it anyway because I don't really like leaving shed on them unless it's like on the claw, like I just did. Normally I'll wait, and if he has not been able to get it off on his own, or if it's a second shed and he still has a little bit of stuck shed on the claws, then like I said, I will get it off like I did today, and it looks like there might be a little bit left on that one toe. I'm going to have to tinker with it some more, but Actually, that's a different foot. Anyway, guys, before I keep on rambling, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this informational as well of how to soak them properly. And like I said, make sure the water is room temperature that they are going to be sitting in, or a little bit more lukewarm side. And to be very careful. These are obviously very useful for small areas like the claws, but for the toes, most of the time you can just get it by gently rubbing it with a cotton pad, either the damp or the dry side. Cotton Q-tip, I mean, or the cotton pad if it's like the entire foot, or if they've got some shed stuck like on their back. This obviously is soft, so it's not going to hurt them if you just went along like this. You can see he doesn't mind that at all. So anyway, guys, thank you again for watching. Like and subscribe if you'd like to support the channel. It always encourages me to make more videos. Thank you again for watching, and have a good rest of your day.